What is up YouTube, and welcome to this WandaVision theory video. There will be spoilers for WandaVision episode 3 and also some light comic book spoilers as well, so please do be warned. You can check out our full breakdown of that episode and a preview of episode 4 on my channel as well, but I just wanted to update that preview as well here. If you enjoyed the video, then a like would be super appreciated, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video. So the last episode was a big one, as we finally got to see the outside of the reality bubble around Westview, and yes, we saw the sword forces outside. Wanda was triggered by the sword necklace Monica was wearing, asking what the hell it was, and then ejecting her out of the Westview bubble and right outside onto the grass as Sword rushed to her. It also seems any changes made on the inside of this reality is permanent on the outside. Also curious as to what Westview really is. It does look like a proper community, but there is also the idea that it could actually be a proper Sword base, a fake reality Truman Show world to keep Wanda there. And there was a theory and leak before the show started that she was kept inside a Sword base and given some DVDs to watch, which would explain her influences on her breakdown as she creates different sitcoms from throughout history. So it would be curious here if this was a base, and it's not too far away from the base that we saw in Captain America: The First Avenger. And we do know that that turned into a SHIELD base later in Endgame, which is a cool theory. I do like that. But we know that there are some bizarre things going on in this Westview sitcom world, and Monica, as Geraldine, has been a bit weird throughout all of her appearances. She seemed unsure of herself at her first meeting with Wanda, and then at the magic show, it seemed that she was amazed by absolutely everything in that talent show. However, during that magic show, there are curious patterns on the box that Glamour and Illusion used to make Monica appear, disappear, or whatever their original plan was before Vision got a bit too drunk on the gum there. Those names themselves being references to magicians from the Vision and Scarlet Witch comic, something I didn't include in my episode 1 and 2 breakdown. The box also has a symbol with a light ray or an explosion around it, which looked pretty cool. Initially, I thought it would be the Mind Stone exploding around our boy Vision's head in Infinity War, and in the promos we have seen that light exploding in front of Wanda wearing different clothes from their movie, but now I believe it is something else, having seen episode 3 of WandaVision. Now, Monica's original powers were gained from an extra-dimensional device that she destroyed after going undercover when she was a cop, which gave her powers similar to that of Captain Marvel. She went on to be Captain Marvel, predating Carol Danvers, and had a costume that's very of its time. It has a star with an explosion around it, and it was foreshadowing this on the box. So I expect that this was foreshadowing her getting powers in this show. Now, episode 4 is rumoured to be a prequel episode. Speaking about episode 4, Elizabeth Olsen did say, "I think the reason why they show the press the first 3 episodes is because episode 4 is quite a shift. It's a really fun perspective swap, and I think a lot gets understood in that moment." So with that in mind, we will learn about her origins in Sword and possibly how Sword came to arrive outside Westview. And we saw that in some of the promos, and I talked about that in my last WandaVision video. Monica looks incredulous at the bubble surrounding Westview, so this makes sense, as my theory is that we have now seen how Monica gained her powers. In the magic show, we saw Wanda use her powers, foreshadowing her using her powers in episode 3. At the end, we saw Monica flown out of Bubble Land and seemingly be knocked unconscious, but she also had some of the red energy of Wanda surrounding her. Now, this energy combined with the extra dimensional energy that is being forged around Westview makes sense that perhaps the radiation of that and Wanda using her powers on Monica has then given Rambeau herself the powers that she has from the comics. Now, Paul Bettany has said on Twitter how episode 4 will be mind-blowing, so I expect that we will see the side of S.W.O.R.D. which we haven't seen thus far, and we will also fast through the lives of Tommy and Billy, with them almost becoming adults, and the aftermath of Monica being yeeted into the abyss. And I expect that S.W.O.R.D. will look into this and see what's going on with her, and we will have some sort of flashbacks to how this first came to be, and we'll see the before and the after, the how it started, how it ended. There are theories that the radiation of all of this will cause a mutant, and while that is not the ideal situation, in my opinion, for mutants to come into the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's an interesting one nonetheless. Now, the introduction of the mutants is very tricky as they haven't existed thus far. However, if Monica is getting powers from the extra-dimensional energy, then this will be a good extension, and we see the birth of mutants. But that means that we don't have people like Apocalypse in the past, and we will never ever get the Mr. Sinister payoff from the Fox X-Men universe and the Essex Corp whole storyline, which seems to have died now with New Mutants. So I don't think that that will happen, mainly because I don't really want it to happen. However, Monica getting powers this way makes a lot more sense and would allow for her to be a huge player in S.W.O.R.D. having these powers, and would be a good reason for Carol Danvers to come back to Earth to help her learn her powers. This combination of Wanda's hex powers and the weird world that is around her would be a really fun way, and I do think it's because she was pushed out so fast and we see her surrounded by the energy. But yes, it is a complete and total long shot. I mean, Carol didn't even help her own planet out during the Chitauri, Ultron, or the Snap, but she was helping other people. At least her best mate's kid needing help is something that she really wouldn't ignore. I expect we would see some origins of the powers that Monica is going to get in this show, at least if we're going to have S.W.O.R.D., and she could be the expert on the scene if the Avengers do pop up. Now, Paul Bettany has said that this show, the second half of it, will be an Avengers level movie, and I think maybe just having Vision and Scarlet Witch as the only Avengers level power there would be a bit of a shame, but it'd be nice to see Monica Rambeau have her origins here, as we got her being a cop with S.W.O.R.D. and having her get her powers from the radiation and some sort of power from Wanda being angry. Yes, I think that that would work very well as her origin, and it does make a lot of sense with the updated origins that Marvel love to use for their cinematic universe. But that's it for this video, so please drop a like down below, please do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.